Hi guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic channel. Hope you're all having an awesome day. And we still find ourselves in bizarro land. You know, as Jim Morrison said, this is the strangest life I've ever known. I have no idea what's going on. I mean, I'm sitting here in Perth, Australia, and my life really hasn't changed. I've ignored everything, of course. You know, I do see people. There's a couple of people in shopping centres with masks. Of course, there's all the stupid lines and crosses on the ground. I always stand in front of the lines. I don't stand on the crosses. I walk the wrong way against the arrows, which I hope you all do as well. But really, that's as far as this whole thing has affected me. I don't watch the news. These days you don't have to. It's, you know, that it's so strong that even if you don't watch the news, you're going to be hearing what's going on, and all these new, you know, laws and other things they're trying to pass. But it just seems very 1984 to me. There's this scene in 1984 and they're talking about, I think it's a parade coming down the street, and he's talking about, you know, the Yellow Army, they call it. So obviously Asians, but the whole kind of thing about it is they just keep getting this news from overseas of all these wars and all this, you know, terrible stuff going on, but none of this terrible stuff is happening to them. They're just in, you know, it's 1984, they're in complete lockdown for their lives. But as far as all the war and all the fear, it's all outside. It's all coming through the telly. It's not, you know, they're not experiencing it. They're only experiencing it. They're only experiencing it through the medium of media. And that's an interesting word, isn't it? Medium, to bring through from another place. And so, yeah, this is the thing. I'm just sitting here like, is any of this even real? That's how it kind of feels to me sometimes. And I'm definitely not trying to, you know, discard any of the, you know, the brutality that's been going on with policemen against, you know, free beings. But it's just the strangest time in history. But anyway, I just thought I just got a few points I want to get across. And one is, you know, to do with the media and news. You know, have you noticed everything stopped? There is no news. There's nothing. Before this, we had you know, the Australian New South Wales fires. We had, obviously, global warming was going off. There was that big thing on, you know, plastics in the sea, and then just obviously normal news, you know, that they like to bombard us with all the, you know, wars and murders and all this kind of stuff. It's all stopped. It's all stopped. There's nothing there. You know, there was that gun shooting in Canada a week or so ago. Didn't hardly even hit the media. And this is the thing, there's all this stuff, it's still going on. There's stuff around the world, but we're not getting any of it. And this is proof that everything comes from one source. And for the media, it's Reuters. Reuters own the media. They own the stories. They give out the script, and that's owned by the Rothschild. And that's owned by the Rothschild banking dynasty. So this is all just propaganda. We're in the middle of a movie, guys. We're in the middle of a play. You know, actors to act, action. You know, we're in the middle of a play. I don't know how else to say it. This is just absolutely bizarre, and the things that are going on are just, you know, they're so, you know, everything that happens is a first. I mean, look at the economy. Now, most of you probably know they destroyed the gold-backed dollar back in '33, Jekyll Island, created the fiat currency and basically backed the money against oil, petrochemical dollar, again, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and that petrochemical dollar has completely collapsed, as I'm sure you've all seen. So the dollar's collapsed, and then they're printing money left, right, and center. 7 trillion. That's 7,000 billion dollars just got printed, basically to give to the billionaires. That's where it's all going. It's all going to Gates and all these privately owned, you know, organizations that are trying to direct the world in a certain way. And of course, with the media, when they're spruiking at their hardest and they're out there, you know, really pushing a narrative, we know there's always something else going on in the background. You know, this is what they do. It's the old magician's trick, you know, watch this hand while I do something with this, the old sleight of hand. So obviously there's a lot going on in the background, but what's happening, and I've mentioned this before, is they don't seem to be able to hide anything anymore. Everything they do is it's just on social media the next day. It's everywhere. There's so many people onto it, and everyone's got the time as well. So this whole thing, I tend to think that they moved too quickly. Something happened, something went on, and this is just watching it and trying to pick up what's happening and what's going on, which is a full-time job at the moment. I just feel, I don't have any, you know, real proof or anything, but I just got this feeling that they moved too quickly. They started early and they've moved too quickly, and it's all falling apart. They just can't keep their plans hidden. See, normally they set things up, you know, as we know, decades in advance, you know, hundreds of years even sometimes. And so they're playing this script and they have everything, you know, worked out, because these are not creative people. These are left brain people. They love their maths, their sequences, their details. And so what happens is they detail everything, and, you know, they follow the plan. Now, when that plan doesn't go to plan, when it doesn't work out properly, they're not creative, so they don't have the ability to change tact halfway through the plan. And this is what we see. When things go wrong, they just keep pushing harder and harder at their original plan. They've got nothing else because they've got no creativity. So this is what we see, you know, all this information comes out about how, you know, they're all, you know, pedophile, human trafficking, Satan worshipping, demonic subhumans, you know, it's everywhere. And their only defense is to just pump more out on the MSN, on the companies that they own, the stations that they own. They just pump it out. And this is also happening with social media, as we know. I don't have to mention that, you know, the censorship that's gone on with social media and YouTube. But it's interesting to note that since 2010, Google has bought around 70 companies, all social media. And what was happening is, and you can see this, you know, on Facebook and Twitter, is all their bots weren't able to read GIFs. They weren't able to read GIFs. That they seemed to be able to read memes. They were getting onto memes, but most memes were getting through because, you know, it comes through as a picture, not as actual text that they can read. And so this is how people were getting information out. You know, if you write it in text, they can see it and they'll just take it down. Same with videos. They can track the encoding of them. But with, they were having real trouble with GIFs especially, and memes getting out. They couldn't track which ones were telling the truth, you know, telling who they really were. So Facebook recently went and bought Giphy. And this is what they do. This is monopolization. If they basically buy up all the opposition, and so they can control it. And with Giphy, anything that people can use, any tools that they've got to use against the cabal just buy up, because they print the money. This is what they print the money. This is what they've done, you know, turn it into a private corporation, the Fed, back in the 30s. So they now print the money. They just printed $7 trillion. So, and this is, you know, money is going to deflate, guys, as well. And just quickly, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But check out are they called 401ks, I think they're called. That might be Canada. In the US, we call it superannuation in Australia. Look into that, guys, because there's every chance by the end of the year that money's not going to be worth anything. Hyperinflation. In the 30s and 40s, I remember when I was at school reading about World War II, and it got so bad in East Europe and Germany, that literally people would ask to be paid at lunchtime so that they could go shopping, because by the time, you know, another 4 hours at closing time, at home time, the money would be worth less, and they could literally buy less food. And this is what hyperinflation is, and this is what printing all this money will do. They just print it, it's not backed by anything. They just create this money which devaluates all the other money on the market. So look into that, guys. If you've got money, look into whether you should maybe pull that out and turn it into assets that are actually worth something and will be worth something going into the future. Yeah. So this is all planned, and how many things have been predicted on The Simpsons?
A new disease. No one's immune. It's like the summer of the shark, except instead of a shark, it's an epidemic. And instead of summer, it's all the time.
And also The Family Guy and other shows.
People of Quahog, your town is under quarantine. Until further notice, no one may enter or leave the city.
And obviously other shows too. But The Simpsons and Family Guy, they are just holding the torch. You can go back 20 years. It's like they were literally created to put this stuff in our face. But is it putting it in our face, or is it predictive programming? Because when we see these things, they go into our mind, and back to the old, tell a lie, repeat it as often as you can quote. It just things become more familiar to us. And when things become more familiar, they become more acceptable. And then you hit a point where you will accept something as, yeah, sure, that can happen. Like a lockdown, a pandemic, all based around diseases that don't exist and vaccinations that are bad for you. And one other thing I've found, guys, is time. Time's weird. Like this lockdown, I've been, I'm not on lockdown, I'm not obeying any lockdown laws, but I've been at home, sort of made redundant for, it's about 8 weeks now, I think. And it just seems like so much, it's weird because it seems like I get so much done during a day, but then you sort of look back on the week and it doesn't seem like that much time has passed. And time seems to be distorted to me at the moment. It's just going up, it's fast, slow, just weird. But what this also means, guys, is that time isn't a constant. We know this, right? Time is not linear, like they tell us. They love to tell us, evolution, caveman, blah, 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 a straight line to where we are now. But it doesn't work that way. Time doesn't exist. Everything is now. The only time there is now. So we really have as much time as we want. We do, because as you know, if you're sitting around bored, days can just go by so quick, and it's because nothing's getting done. You're not doing anything, not focusing, you're not expanding your consciousness, because if time is not a line and linear, then what is time? Well, what time is it's an expanding of your consciousness. It's an awareness. It's being able to see more. So that's why when we're doing a lot, and you'll notice this if you've been on holidays and you're out there and you're experiencing new things and you're expanding your awareness and your consciousness, time seems to slow down when you're in the experience. And then when you look back at it, it seems to have gone really, really quickly. Okay, so this is what happens. So it's all an expansion of your consciousness. And what it is when you're in the experience, time seems to be slower. But then what you've really done is you've really recognized what you already know. And so that's why when you look back on it, it seems like, it didn't take time, because it was already there. You just realized it. You just, expanded your awareness to include it. There's a saying about statues. Actually, I'll tell you a little story. There was this boy, and he used to walk past this sculptor's workshop every day. And he walked by one day, and there was a new block of marble standing there, and the sculptor was starting to hammer away on it. And the boy had a look, and as he went by the workshop every day, this bit of marble got smaller and smaller, and gradually a man started to emerge. And months passed by, and then finally he was walking by, and he could see that the sculptor had finished this statue of a man. And the little boy went inside and he said, "Hey, can I have a word to you?" And the sculptor said, "Sure." And the little boy said, "How did you know that man was inside that block of marble?" And the sculptor said, "Well, I didn't really know that he was in there. All I did is I took away everything that wasn't the man. And the man appeared. You see, we are not complete when there's nothing left to add. We are complete when there's nothing left to take away. Privacy again, guys, they're trying to, you know, they're getting into everything, and this is going to fail, you know, don't get me wrong, this is going to fail, but I don't know what the time frame is going to be. You know, I don't know. This may take 2 years for enough people to wake up and push back. I don't know. I've always wanted to be on the land and get land and start things, grow food, permaculture, have, you know, camps and teach courses and all this kind of thing. And I've been thinking about it a lot lately, obviously, and I do want to get this land, but every time, I don't know, it feels like I'm being told to stay at least near the city. So listen to your heart, guys, because like we are going to be fine. We've already won this. We just don't know what the, you know, how hard people are going to make it to get through, how hard this awakening is going to be. So it's really up to us to help people get through and to wake up. Because like I said, this could take 5 years, or it could literally take a day if everyone just stood up and went, this is crazy. No, you know, we're the power, you guys can go away. Then it would be change, you know, because I've said before, these people in power, that they can't do anything by themselves. They need we the people to enforce their tyranny, you know, police officers and army and all that. So if you're out there and you know these people, or you are one, what kind of future are you creating for yourself and your children if you're going to enforce this kind of evil? Like really, like what do you stand for? And this is something we all need to think about, guys. What do you stand for? Who are you? What's inside you? What do you want to accomplish with this life? Because it is this life. You don't die. Death is the biggest scam that they've pushed on us. No one dies. I mean, you think about it. If you understood that you don't die ever, that you're eternal, and this is just a bot, this is just a car that you've rented. Think of it that way, okay? When you finish driving it around, you'll take it back to the shop, and then you can go rent a different one and drive on a different road in a different country. That's all it is. So all death is a changing of, a changing of perspective. So if you don't die, if you're eternal, what's there to be scared of? Because all there is now, and all there is you learning and expanding and growing. And so that's what this realm is, guys. They're trying to shut us down, trying to stop us from expanding our awareness and our consciousness, because that way we're controllable. They want to control us. That's why they're called controllers. And that's why they're called rulers, because they want to make rules. That's not like us. We're free human beings, and it's like it's a test. It's like when you say, you know, bugger this, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to go forward and build the life that I want. I'm going to create. I'm going to be all that I can. When you say that, the universe will go, really? Are you sure? And it will throw tests your way, and it will test you. And if you give up, then they'll go, well, you weren't serious, and you can't get there. So this is the thing. You have to stay true to yourself and strong in your heart, and understand that you can't be defeated. And we've seen this all throughout history. People have, and I'm not saying give up your life or anything like that, but we've seen it throughout history. People, they stand more in their beliefs and their ethics and their heart and their morals than they do in other people's, which means that they actually are prepared to lay down their lives for what is right, for building a better future, for helping other people, because they understand that there is no death. And to give up your rights and to live in a physical reality is to go backwards. To stand by your rights and your morals and beliefs and to leave the physical world is actually to grow and go forward. Okay, and again, don't mince my words. I'm not telling people that death is good, you should martyr yourself, but this is a thing. What do you believe? You're going to let other people rule your eternity, your eternal life? Because they get us in this box and they say this is all there is, just life, and if you stuff up, you're going to burn for eternity. Yep. Or if you listen to our pedophile priests, they'll say prayers for you and you'll end up in heaven. Well, you know, Who wants to end up in heaven with pedophile priests? It's all crap, guys. It's all BS. The truth is we're eternal beings. We are the power. We are it. We're the consciousness. Do you not know God is within you? God lives within the temple. And whatever you want that word to be, nature, the field, Brahma, it's all the same thing. Because another way they get us is, that they show us all the bad and all the bad people in religion. So people start thinking, oh, the religion's bad. And the religion is bad, but a religion is just an organization made by men. A religion is not God. A religion is not spirit. Religion is not even the holy books like the Bible and the Quran. The religions are the interpretations of those books made by men. And here we have a big problem, because people are now listening to the word of man and believing they're listening to the word of God. Okay, so you do not need a middleman between you and the Creator. You are the created. You're a fractal of the whole. So why would you need a middleman to tell you how to live your life? How would they know? How would they know better than you? All they know is how to live their life better for them. And that's it. And the same with you. The best life you know how to live is yours. We all love to give advice to people, but the truth is we don't know what's best for them. Only they do. So the best advice we can ever give is to ask questions to people and talk and have conversations, rather than trying to tell people what to do, because we'll be wrong every single time. We have to draw out from within them, help them discover what's best for themselves. So yeah, let's focus on the good, because again, everything's energy. If we focus on the bad, we're just helping the enemy. As I say all the time, focus on what you want. Focus on what you want the future to be, because this is the biggest game. They're changing our thoughts. As they lock down people physically, they're locking down their minds. They're locking down their dreams, their thoughts of the future. It's all being caged in. Oh, I can't travel anymore. I can't do this anymore. I can't start a business. I can't blah, 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 blah. But that's all crap. That's all.
Yeah, we called it a bullshit.
So don't believe that. Keep your thoughts and your dreams alive, and keep going towards them, because that's all we've got. Like I said, this is a big learning game, and it's an expansion of awareness that we're after in the end. So stay well, stay safe. Hope that little spiel made sense to some of you. And yeah, have an awesome day, and I'll catch you on the next upload. Bye for now.